All right, well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have each and every one of you here with us today. Today is December 7th. Can you believe we're already in December? December 7th, 2021. This is episode number 134. And today we're going to take a look at trait number 5 in quality 5. We're going to be taking a look at waiting as an aspect of enlightenment. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So of course, before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. So let's start with Shelley. Hey, Shelley, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here today.
Great to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Anna.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm happy to be here. It's a joyful day.
Yes, it is. And Moxie is also saying hi as well. Say hi. So Moxie is here with us as well. And again, great to have each and every one of you here. So let's dive into trait 5 in quality 5, waiting as an aspect of enlightenment. So of course, again, if you want to follow along with the trait of the day, we do invite you to subscribe to the trait of the day. Again, you'll get an email every day letting you know what that background frequency is all about. So we are now in a new month. We are in the month of December. And what is December all about? So again, the purpose is still fulfilled through transformation. So we're still taking a look at that. And we're taking a look at fixed patterns to sell and market ideas on loving, trusting, and accepting yourself, bringing forth a joyous vitality to fight for a purpose greater than yourself. So this is what holds in store, what's there in store for us during the month of December. 1 second here. I'm trying to have the video is in front of my screen here. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at what we're going to explore during December. So today we're going to take a look at the fixed patterns, waiting, the fundamental attunement to the natural rhythms is what we're going to take a look at today. Next week, we'll take a look at sales and marketing, the strength that will support the tribe. We're going to take a look at ideas, peace, captured over time, our stimulation for reflection. We're going to take a look at the behavior of self in the 10, loving, trusting, and accepting yourself. It's interesting when we are in quality 10, this is when we enter into the winter solstice, the longest day or the shortest day and the shortest night, or the darkest night. Is that how it goes? Yes. The darkest night in the winter solstice. And interesting, during the winter solstice, again, it's the behavior of self, loving, trusting, and accepting yourself. Then we'll take a look at vitality. This happens over Christmas. So with the 58th, this joyous zest for life, the energy for a better life is it Christmas. And then New Year's is the fighter, opposition, stubbornness that can overcome any odds. Right, so that is New Year's. Yes, the shortest day and the darkest night. That's what I was trying to figure out. Thank you for that, Tonya. All right, so let's take a look at also, if we take a look at the 5, again, we can see that there's also quite a few activations currently. If we take a look at the transit for today, we can take a look that we still have this searching for inner truth and inner meaning. We have this charisma, we have the dreamer connected to the fate. So we have this strength of imagination. So imagination and getting to the bottom of things. What's our inner truth with this go, 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 go energy? Now we are still we've talked about this environment several times. We're still in this environment of charisma, this environment of the 34 and the 20, both in quality 2. We are going to be in this background frequency for the entire month of December. So we'll probably chat about it again as we go through December. All right, so let's take a look at today's theme. So today's theme is all about fixed patterns. It's all about fixed rhythms. This is the rhythm of life. So when we take a look at trait 5, It is the fundamental attunement to the natural rhythms. One of the things that's very interesting is that all designs, meaning the design of plants, the design of insects, the design of mammals, the design of birds, the design of reptiles, all has this particular trait, this trait of the 5, right? So it's the patterns and natural rhythms of life. And waiting, right? Waiting is not stopping. So part of what the 5 is all about is waiting for the right timing, right? There's the fixed rhythms and patterns that happen in its own time, just like this picture, you know, kind of with the heartbeat, right? There's a rhythm, there's a pattern, there's a place of action, there's a place of waiting. And waiting isn't stopping, right? This is one of the things that we talk about often in BG5 is your decision-making strategy. And your decision-making strategy doesn't matter what type you are, there is an element of waiting to every single decision-making strategy, whether it's waiting for clarity or waiting to respond or waiting to be moved into action or waiting for recognition and invitation, right? Or waiting a 28-day cycle. There's this element of waiting. And oftentimes people think of waiting as stopping, right? As, you know, sitting on the couch, eating bonbons, waiting for the phone to ring, right? Waiting isn't stopping. It's an active state of awareness, right? So one of the things that we may be experiencing is this active state of awareness. This is also about enjoying the mundane. So enjoying mundane rituals, routines, fixed rhythms, fixed tempos, right? That get us into the rhythm, into the beat, into the pulse of life, right? If we take a look at everything as being a frequency, again, that rhythm, that pulse is part of what this 5 is all about. And this is staying true to your own inner rhythms, especially if you have trait 5 defined. So staying true to your own inner rhythms in order to stay vital, in order to stay healthy, and always in your flow. And one of the things, especially if you do have trait 5 in your design, is being forced to deviate from your natural rhythms can be physically, mentally, and emotionally destabilizing for you. Right? So especially if you have the 5 in your design, it's something that's really important to stay with your own patterns, to stay in your own rhythms, especially if this happens to be part of your core essence, right? So if you were born during this week, this may be part of your life work, these patterns, these rhythms, and being forced to deviate from those can be physically, mentally, and emotionally destabilizing for you. So pay attention to that. And waiting binds all life forms together in the rhythm of life. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that all of the designs, right? The designs of the insect, the design of the birds, the design of the mammals, the design of plants, they all have this 5 in common. So I would love to hear from our panel. How does this 5 show up for you? I don't think Anna or Shelley, you have the 5, so that you can also be very wise about it as well. So so let's start with Anna.
Yeah, like you just said, I do not have the 5, and I've noticed that let's see, I have certain rituals that are regular, that ground me, but I don't have a particular timing through the day. I've noticed over the years that changes. When I have a garden, a big garden, I'll get up in the morning early, you know, sunrise is a very wonderful time. I kind of gear around that. When I had my kids, you know, and all the daily stuff that goes on, there's rituals, you know, patterns that get started, and I would take my time at night. And now my adult son lives with me, and he's very active at night. We worked out a, you know, quiet time between 12 and 6, but I realized I would like to do my own writing and my own stuff, you know, late at night, like between 11 and 1. that's my time. So, on a personal level, that's kind of how I've experienced this. On a more collective level, I remember a time a number of years ago, a friend of mine was visiting, and her little 5-year-old we were sitting in the backyard, and I had just planted a garden. I just seeded it out, was watered, and I was sitting on a back step, and I was very anxious. It's like, oh, I hope this all sprouts, because it was a new first time in this particular soil. And I didn't say that, but he just tuned in, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, it'll grow. With the profound connection that kids have, this little 5-year-old, he knew what I was feeling. He knew the bigger picture. I was just so thankful, and it brought me tremendous joy, just like, oh, that's all I needed was, yes, this is gonna work. It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, all that. So he was tuned in. I have no idea what his chart was like, but he had this sense of seasons and how things take their time, and the timing of things is essential.
Exactly. Yeah, beautifully shared, Anna. Thank you so much. And Linda, hey, Linda, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I had trouble entering the Zoom room, so I'm happy it worked out, because normally I have my fixed rhythm. I am showing up on time, but it was not. I was not able to. So I was. So it was really destabilizing for me. Yes.
Well, glad that you have that you've made it here, and you have the 5 actually twice in your design.
Yes. So I am going with the flow.
And you do have 5 in quality 5 as well. What the trait is for today as well, and both in what's hidden. I don't know if there's anything that you'd like to share, or your personal experience of having the 5 in your design.
Yeah, well, I do have a fixed rhythm. I really love to, well, I have my morning rituals and also evening rituals. No matter how late it is, I have to brush my teeth and I have to do like a makeup routine. It's just the way it is. And it's not that fixed, but well, not throughout my life, not everything, but I really like to get up in the morning and just do my thing, and then start working, have a cup of tea. It's always the same tea, so I feel like maybe it's a little bit fixed after all. Well, and then I just start working, and I cannot stop working because I'm in my flow, in my rhythm. Yeah, and also with cleaning my house, I feel like, okay, I start with this and then I do this. Yeah, I have my certain way of doing things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really love that. And also, yeah, when people are interrupting me, I feel like, that's not what I want. I just want to do it my way.
Right, exactly. I love it. Great example, Linda. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great. And Shelley.
Oh, this is so fun to listen to you guys, because I don't have any of this defined. But my husband has the whole strength, and we've been together more than 35 years. And so I believe that I've been pulled somewhat into a rhythm just by being around him so much. And I think, Karen, you and I were chatting about this a while ago, about how all I know is that I'm inconsistent with all of my patterns. And a thought just popped into my mind. When I was younger, I used to think that was cool, that I wouldn't be consistent at all, and then no one would be able to figure me out. I could always keep them guessing.
I love that.
But when I really feel into it and listening to some of the things you guys have said, I think having the energy resource defined, there's a sense of this, regardless of whether it's consistently there or not. Because I do have some particular things like Linda, I can't go to bed at night without brushing my teeth and washing my face. It just won't happen. And there are certain things I do in the daytime at certain times that just help me feel healthy. And it's okay for me to miss them for a day or two. They won't completely upset me. So I can be a little bit more flexible. I'm not as thrown off as I see my husband getting thrown off if we try to move him off of his rhythms. He's like sticks his heels in. And one of the things we were chatting about, Karen, was I think you have the 5 and your husband's open here. And I know that
he has the 15.
He's always got 15. I have a sister-in-law and brother-in-law living with us that have that as well. And there's some funny things happening there too. But one of the things that has always been was a huge challenge for my husband and I is that he is completely punctual all the time, exactly on time, everywhere he goes. I'm very inconsistent that way. I'll either be 15 minutes early to 15 minutes late, and I still think I'm on time. And to me, that's fine. I'm much more flexible with that. And that was a huge sticking point for us. He bought me books on time management, and he's actually at times, we used to drive together to work in the morning, and he learned that he had to go out and get in the car 10 minutes before he actually wanted to leave, because that was my signal that it was time that I better hurry up and get in the car. I was going to miss my ride. So we both kind of figured out adjustments to make to try to work with each other's rhythms and patterns. So it's interesting to observe, and to me, I watched him suffer so much when people wouldn't show up for him on time, when he had such a high expectation of it. And over time, he's been able to relax a little bit with that and recognize that people aren't doing it on purpose to upset him, that it's just people have different rhythms that they're following. It's not personal. So, yeah.
And I think that's a really important point, Shelley, right? Recognizing that some people do have very fixed patterns, very fixed rhythms. And if you're not following those patterns and rhythms, again, it can be very destabilizing. It can throw them off. But also to realize that it's not personal as well. This can also be one of the challenging electromagnetics as well. I do have the 5. I have the 5 as my unconscious driving force, and my husband has the 15. And so sometimes, I have a certain way of doing it, and sometimes he's consistent, sometimes he's not consistent, right? But the 15 is the extremes, and and being able to really honor that in each other. Sometimes it can be challenging, right? And sometimes, it's really recognizing what each of us needs so that we can follow those patterns. One of the things that has been really helpful in creating patterns and rhythms as well is my puppy dog. Again, remember, this is something that all, like I said, all living creatures have in their design as well. So Sandy wakes me up. She's my puppy dog, wakes me up in the morning at a certain time. We go for a walk. And so we have this whole routine in the morning. And then in the evening, we have this whole routine in the evening as well. And what's funny is that she will not be able to settle down. She will not be able to go to sleep until we go for a walk. And then she gets a bone, and then she gets this. And Moxie's saying, well, what about me? What's my, I have patterns and rhythms too.
I have the routine of showing my face on BG5 Live every Tuesday.
So getting into those natural rhythms, and what you were talking about, Anna, as well, is kind of taking a look at the natural rhythms of nature, right? That element of waiting, right? You plant a seed, it doesn't grow immediately. There's a gestation period. There's a waiting period. There's, you know, allowing things to unfold as they need to unfold and honoring that natural pattern and rhythm. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Karen? What I also, because Liana also had a beautiful statement about the 5, it's that we also see patterns all around us. That's really true. And what I was also contemplating about is what I do when I work with clients, is that I encourage them to surrender to the rhythm of life, go with the flow, because everything has its own timing, just like Anna shared in nature, but it's not only nature, it's everything, and also with us. And I had a wonderful conversation today with one of my clients, and I shared with her that I can see the earth and all living beings as a tapestry. And that tapestry is connected with each other. And we want to be in the driver's seat. We want to create things. We want to move things along. We want to initiate, but most of us are not suited to do so. And I really encouraged her, okay, we have to trust that everything in that tapestry collaborates together, but we don't know the bigger plan. But everything is kind of a divine interference with each other. We cannot make that stuff up with our heads. We have to surrender to the flow, the rhythm of life. So just contemplating about it, having the 5 2 times in my design, I feel like I'm really attuned to that rhythm of life. Like, yes, I'm really sensing that it works. I literally, in my hallway, I have kind of a board with letters. It says go with the flow, to remind me, don't initiate, don't feel that you have to get things done when the timing is not there. It will present itself when the timing is right. So yeah, that's maybe because it's hidden, I feel like it's coming to the surface. Yeah. And I feel like that's also a key to be able to navigate through life is, and I also said, see it as a river and just not swim against the stream, but follow the flow. And then you will feel like a feather that's just floating on the stream. And then everything, even if there's a blockage, if there's a rock, eventually you will get past by it if you surrender. Yes. So for me, it's all about, the rhythm of life, the heartbeat of life with a beautiful picture. It knows what's best for us.
Wow. I love that analogy of really going with the flow and being the feather down the river. And, you know, it's one of the things that we talk about a lot with following your decision-making strategy. The decision-making strategy is not only the right decision, it's the right timing. Timing is everything. And it's waiting for things to align. I love what you said, Linda, is there's a bigger picture that we can't even see within that tapestry of life, that if we try to, you know, go against the flow, if we try to swim upstream, it's just hard work, it's effort, it's not fun, it's not comfortable. But when you surrender, right, the magic happens. That's really when the magic happens, and what allows it to unfold is that waiting for the right timing, whatever your right timing is.
And awareness will give you the right timing, because it's an active waiting. Yes. And that's what I really love, what is stated here. And waiting binds all life forms together, because that's exactly what I mean with the tapestry. And we cannot, with our minds, plan the things the way they unfold. Yes. Because sometimes I also shared with her, because she came across the person that was really interested in what she was doing. I said, well, life gives you the right meetings, the right people, the right opportunities. Because if you were planning that you were meeting each other at school, then you were too late or she was too late. You cannot plan things. You cannot make sometimes stuff up. It's happening the way it needs to happen.
Yeah, so beautifully said. And Leanna, I see that you're, I believe it's your conscious core essence as well. So so happy birthday. I was wondering if you'd like to step on and share about trait 5 as well. Oh, I need to give you. Oh, did that work?
Good morning.
Hey there, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Hi, ladies. Hi, everyone. Yeah, love what Linda's saying. I feel like we're twins. Twins. Yeah, because it's deeply profound, this trait. Because exactly what Linda was saying, the surrendering, the foundation of surrender is trust. And underneath that is that you can trust life itself, you know, or even the consciousness of life. And I've been saying to clients, especially since, you know, this last year, with how unsettled everyone has been with everything that's been going on, I say, life loves me. Life loves me. Life has my back. Like, at the core, I feel, from watching patterns in having clients for so many years and going into their, as a psychotherapist, going into their inner beingness or into their systems, it always makes sense. It's always loving. And that has shown me and proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that consciousness in and of itself is loving. So if consciousness is loving, then life is loving. And we can trust in life, you know, so we can trust it. So then we look at, can we trust ourselves and can we trust life? So that's sort of where I've been doing a lot of stuff. Like same with Linda, how she's teaching her clients to surrender and work with life. And so what that also looks like for me, and I feel Linda would feel this too, I'm curious, but when she's speaking, this is what I feel, she activates in me, is that when you work with life and you pause because you're in the rhythm of life, it can look like you start and stop things, but you're pausing. So for me, it's like I have a canvas of like lots of canvases around me, and they're at all different levels of completion because I pause. Because for me, Linda feels like a stream, which I play with that as well. Am I upstream? Am I downstream? You know, where's my struggle? Do I need to let go? Mine is more like, maybe because I live in Australia, I do a wave, because Mother Nature is, you cannot fight a wave. It's going to take you, it's stronger. So I gauge if it feels like I'm in a wave on whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's a relationship, a project, an experience. I just gauge, am I pushing? Like, is this taking too much effort? Am I efforting? But not in an efforting way when I'm inspired. It's hard to explain it, but I can feel when I need to let go.
Yeah, beautifully shared, Leanna. Thank you so much for joining in. I love
Thank you
it.
for having me. I love being here with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tanya was saying, absolutely. I found that the energy only flows in one direction. And if I decide to go with it or against it, or choose a different energy flow altogether. Yeah, beautifully said, Tanya.
I wanted to add something here, along with what all of you have said so far, but about the waiting as an active state of awareness. Because a lot of times we try to do everything. And that's where we get into the unhealthy habits and things like that. Things don't work, we're going upstream, all of that kind of thing. But when you think about waiting for your particular moment, it gives you a chance to realize everybody's got their moment and that everybody's participating. And if you step in too soon, you know, whether you're an athlete or a musician or a gardener, a mom, dad, whatever, you know, if you step in too soon, you're stepping on possibly on somebody else's moment and interfering. So it's not just about our own flow, but watching, you know, using our decision-making strategy for that right timing so that we're not interfering with the flow, not just for personally, but in the bigger context. And as you all know, you know, a lot of my analogies are around gardening, but one of the things about waiting for the right moment is when you're aware, when you let yourself become more and more aware, you realize the active state of things around you. Like in the soil, hopefully if it's healthy soil, there's all kinds of things going on, all kinds of little microbes and things moving at their timing, doing their business, doing what they're here for, and activating the right moment for a seed to grow, or nourishing the roots of some old tree that's still well and alive. There's all kinds of activations going on all the time. And if we wait for our little timing, our personal little timing, then we contribute to the health of everything around us. And another part, as an innovator, I've really been watching this because it is not, you know, initiating is not something I can think about or do. It's, and even as an innovator, if I try to do it, you know, I know a lot of, you know, the other types try to do it, it backfires. But even if it's like, oh, I got to do it, blah, 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 blah. I interfere with my natural receptivity, because part of what's going on as an innovator, the way I understand it, might be different for each person, but it is a constant active waiting. Even though my personal decision-making strategy is emotional intelligence, you know, emotional authority, and I have to wait through a personal cycle. In my type as an innovator, I have to sort of be in this active state of waiting all the time, and then the moment happens and it's spontaneous and it's correct. You know, little tiny, and one thing about initiating, I'm just going to put this out, it's rarely big, it's usually very small. And that was something as an innovator I had to sort of wake up to also. You could say something, you don't realize it has that super effect on somebody till you get the feedback later. So this active state of awareness, or the pause, or the waiting, you're breathing, you're looking around, you're feeling, you're moving. It's not stopping at all. It's aliveness, just waiting for its right moment.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much, Anna. And, you know, I'm thinking of what, both tying in what Linda said earlier and what you just said, Anna, with this tapestry of life. It's like an orchestra of life, right? And if the, you know, if the cymbals come in at the wrong time, it can disrupt the entire orchestra, right? So it's, you know, the person is there with the cymbals waiting for the exact moment. And then when those cymbals clash at exactly the right moment, you know, it is this beautiful symphony and this beautiful way of everything coming together and highlighting that area. However, if it comes in at the wrong time, it's off, it doesn't feel quite right, it disrupts the entire orchestra. So I love what you said, Anna, in really, in a sense, waiting for your own timing also empowers others in their own timing as well. Really beautifully said. And also as an innovator, there's still this element of waiting. You know, there's the element of waiting for the right time to initiate. And it doesn't mean that it has to be something huge. You know, it's just initiating those small things as well that can make a huge difference. So I wanted to take a look at the other side of this as well, is how you get affected when you're connected. So taking a look at the shadow of the 5 and when you don't have trait 5, right? So Shelley and Anna spoke to it a little bit. This is the lack of fixed patterns, right? So it's kind of out of sync, if you will. That's why I put these 2 clocks here. So the question is, do you find a lack of consistent patterns, rhythms, routines, or habits in your life? Do you feel like things are constantly changing and it's hard to create a consistent focus, the consistent focus that you need to master any area of your life? Or do you feel a little out of sync with life? The problem is that you may lack the disciplined and fixed rhythms to achieve mastery in some area of your life because of your own constantly changing rhythm, right? That's what's on the other side is the 15. It's this diversity, right? Sometimes they get up early, sometimes they get up late, sometimes there's this, sometimes there's that, right? That's why it can be also a challenging electromagnetic as well. And the solution is that you're really designed to work with others that can help you give you that discipline and fixed rhythm you need to stay focused and to master a skill or other area of your life. So I don't know if there's anyone out there that has the 15 that doesn't have the 5, or if you guys have an example of that as well. But again, you can see that on the other side, the 15, it's very magnetic, but it also, again, is the extremes. It can be extremes. It can be diversity. So it's almost, in a sense, the opposite of what the 5 is all about.
I'll add something there, Karen.
Yes, please.
It's really, really fascinating because I'm thinking of a couple of clients who've got the 15, but not the 5, and they have their willpower defined even. Yet I can see the inconsistency in their life and how challenging it's been for them to stay focused or stick to a particular plan of any kind, like any kind of plan. They can do it for a short period of time, but then it falls apart, and they unfortunately end up beating themselves up about it, and you know, all of the things that come with that. And so to know that just having somebody with the 5 in their life helps them stabilize that, or helps them stay disciplined. And I have to say, having this whole strength open, it's also been something I've noticed is that I'm not an athlete. I've never done anything consistently long enough to master it. Although I get pretty good at most things that I do, I get pretty skilled at it. But then I change my mind and I want to go and do something different. Like I'm always open to that next new thing that I can get a level of skill in. I, in fact, will get bored if I have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That is a signature. I didn't know where it came from. This may be part of it, but actually having to follow a routine and do the same thing every day. I was thinking about this yesterday. That would always start to make me feel sick, actually, if I had to do the same thing every day. So this is the real contrast between someone who has the 5, needs to do the same thing every day, or they feel sick. The opposite happens for someone with it open and undefined, is don't pin me down to that every day, you'll make me feel sick. So it's really interesting to understand both sides of it and realize that the open 5 needs that flexibility. And when they need to focus on something, to find somebody to help them focus for whatever the period of time is they need that support for. Yeah, so that's sort of what's coming to me around that.
Yes, exactly. And last week we took a look at the 9. So this is sort of the flow of the 9 actually moves to the 5. right? So there's kind of a similar quality to that in being able to be around someone. If you feel like you're kind of off and you want some fixed rhythms and patterns, right? Be around someone who has the 5 that has more of the fixed rhythms or patterns. This is also part of the penta as well, which I didn't mention before. And the 5 is about culture. So it creates the fixed rhythm and patterns within a small group, is also what the 5 represents. Anything, Linda or Anna, that you would like to add with not having trait 5?
I like what you said earlier, Karen, about your puppy dog, because I've always had animals of various sorts. And they do regulate you. Obviously I'm open in both the 5 and the 15, but because of their patterns, it sort of sets the foundation for a daily routine. I have my own personal little tiny routine, but it always seems to stabilize me when I have a pet or several pets. Even though gardening stabilizes me, there's a lot more variables, which, to address what Shelley just said, that's interesting to me, to have all those changing things, even though it's one format. But with animals, yeah, they need to be fed, they need to be walked, they need to be played with, and all of that stuff. I had a kitty once when the kids were younger, and she would herd everybody upstairs at 9 o'clock. It was the funniest thing. It took me a while to figure out what she was doing. She would sit on the bottom first or second step, and then she'd run upstairs and wait at the top of the stairs. And if nobody came upstairs, she'd go back down and wait. And she'd go to my ex-husband, she'd go to my kids, she'd go to me, and she would just sit there back on the steps. And finally I realized, okay, kids, come on, let's go upstairs. And she'd go to the top and she'd purr and she would herd. That was the cutest little thing. And it took me a little while to understand what she was doing, because she didn't do it as a kitten, she did it as an older kitty. But that was a rhythm. It was really cute.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for that, Anna. And Leanna is saying, my friend borrows my focus in exchange for something I want or need. We've learned to do this since learning BG5. Exactly. Right. So again, it's something that if you don't have it, right, it's something that when you connect with others, you can connect to, getting into a pattern or rhythm, so they can help you get into that pattern or rhythm. And I wanted to take a look at today's quality. Speaking of puppy dogs, I put in this picture because I think it really speaks to what this trait is all about, this waiting as an aspect of enlightenment. This is quality 5. This is joy, and quality 5 is always the messenger. So the elevation is the power to be calm and to find one's place in the flow. It's what we've been talking about during this entire session. And to remain calm is the ultimate aesthetic, thus recognizing the inner meaning of being, right? So this calm waiting in finding your own place in the flow. Just like this puppy dog, the calm waiting for his owner to come back. And then the challenge is the disillusionment with recognizing one's place in the flow. The joy dismissed as an illusion, waiting as a failure. So seeing waiting as something wrong, seeing waiting as, oh, I failed, as opposed to, again, just relaxing into the flow. So it has a lot to do with what we've been talking about today. I also just wanted to point out really quickly, I find it very interesting that if we take a look at the 5, if we take a look at what grounds it, is the 35. So what grounds these patterns and rhythms is actually progress. Very fascinating. Anything, Anna or Shelley or Linda, that you would like to add here? And Linda, you have this actually in your design.
Yeah, this is what I recognize, and I feel like this is what I was talking about. It brings joy when you know that life is supportive of you.
Yes.
And it really took me a while to understand that, because I was fighting my way against life, but life was stronger. So I surrendered, literally. And I just said, well, I don't know anymore. Just bring me what needs to be done, or what needs to be said, or what needs to be there for me. And what I really feel like is that I'm now, I feel really calm. And that's also why I'm able to guide clients, even in their darkest periods. I feel like, okay, life is telling you something. It does not want to destroy you. It wants to give you a message, because it wants the best for you. So the solution is to go inside of yourself, because there is the passion, there's the spirit. And it will unfold. And you don't know, sometimes you don't even know the lesson now. You don't understand why things are happening. But most of the time, after a while, when you can wait and when you feel calm, then you can feel, oh, but this is what I can do with it. And then there will be a spark of joy, because you feel like, oh, okay, well, it has a purpose. And it's wonderful that you pointed out at 35, because I feel like waiting and finding a place in the now moment. I also have the 20, so I feel that's really connected as well. And also the 57. So really intuitively, waiting and finding your joy in the now moment will lead to progression. It will lead to a future. We think, oh no, we have to do something, and we have to, and at the driving wheel, we have to do things to make things happen. But I feel it's the other way around, and that the 5 is supported by the 35 is no coincidence, because that will bring us enlightenment and the progress we need.
Yes.
That's our pathway.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
Quality.
And Yvonne was saying, I have the 15 unconsciously, but I also have a lot of fixed rhythms. And I love this. Actually, more than that, I do everything differently every time. Yeah, in being able to get connected with the 5 to create those fixed patterns, to give you that, in a sense, that focus to be able to master things in life. And then we also have our celebrity and the life work theme. Here we have Jim Morrison, a singer, poet, and songwriter, has trait 5 in quality 5 as his conscious core essence. And his life work theme is separation. You are open to love and trying to make sense of the past by separating yourself from the patterns and relationships that didn't work, in order to see the exquisite beauty in and bring changes to the larger patterns of life. So if you think a lot about his songs and his music, a lot of his songs deal with things such as separation. So very fascinating. I don't know, Anna or Shelley or Linda, if there's anything that you would like to add there.
Just, I used to listen to him all the time. And, you know, in the 60s, you know. And he, at that time, now a lot of people sort of use the persona, that he use him as a persona, but he was original. I mean, that was the first introduction sort of to this sort of rebellious, creative, inconsistent, unpredictable energy. And it was, people were just seduced by it. And which is part of why he's still an icon. But he was very creative and destructive.
Yeah. You know, and he was the lead vocalist for the rock band The Doors, and due to his wild personality, poetic lyrics, and distinctive voice, his unpredictable erotic performances, and his dramatic circumstances surrounding his life and his death Morrison is regarded by music critics and fans as one of the most iconic and influential frontmen in rock history. And since his death, as just like Anna was saying, his fame has endured as one of popular culture's most rebellious, often displayed icons, displayed icons representing the generation gap and the youth counterculture. And again, that kind of theme of separation, right? People are strange when you're a stranger. You know, a lot of his songs speak to that as well. And so it's kind of interesting that he has these fixed rhythms and patterns, but at the same time, he was sort of, unpredictable and erratic at the same time. So very fascinating. All right, so for our panel, and I'd love to involve you as well, Leanna, think about what you would like to have people pay attention to as we continue to move through Trait 5 this week. Again, if you are new to BG5 and you want to download your chart, find out, do you have Trait 5? Maybe you have 15 on the other side. You can go to the BG5businessinstitute.com and download your free personalized chart. Again, you can subscribe to the trait of the day and at our website at bg5businessinstitute.com/bg5-live. You can also watch past episodes in our free resource library as well as on YouTube. And again, we have courses starting in January, so would love to invite you to take part of our classes. If you speak another language, we do have also classes that are going to be in Chinese, as well as Bulgarian, as well as English starting in January. So please come and join us. All right, let's wrap everything up. I would love to hear from each of our panel and what are things for people to pay attention over the next couple of days as we continue in trait number 5. Do you like to start, Anna?
Yeah, I would probably just recommend, if you're fixed, what is the essential thing that's fixed? Like Linda was saying, she has the same tea every night. I loved that. What's fixed for you? And there might be 10 different things, but what's the most essential of that? And if you're open there, I would just sort of begin to recognize that there are things around you, your friends or environments or your animals or things we've already talked about, that help you fix into a pattern that is healthy for you. That you can recognize where certain things are patterns that are healthy for you.
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Thank you so much. And Shelley.
Yeah, I love this. It takes me a little bit longer to pull all of the millions of things that are going on in my mind and body right now into words. But something that comes to mind is being open to, whether you're fixed or open here, just kind of sensing the rhythms of life that you can feel and see and sense around you. Because even though my center's open here, I don't have it straight defined. I have a really deep connection to the rhythms and cycles of the world. I think that they're just more open and flowing and flexible, and I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but and just paying attention then to what I'm noticing, just as we started this conversation, the stuff you were talking about at the very beginning about what December is all about. Can you go back to that first slide? Mm-hmm. Karen, yep. There were some really cool things on there that I wanted to talk to. Noticing the patterns and rhythms that are showing up for you in your life. When I saw this, fixed patterns to sell and market ideas on loving, trusting, and accepting yourself, bringing that joyous vitality to fight for that purpose greater than yourself. My life I could feel these things coming about 6 months ago. They started to build. We were moving towards some things that we were wanting to sell and market ideas on, all to do with loving, trusting, and accepting yourself. And it felt like they were incubating. We were in that stage of waiting a few months ago. And it feels like a bunch of these things have just all of a sudden landed in the last week or so and are now starting to play out. So the timing for them feels exactly right now. And I don't know, it just that would be something I would get people to pay attention to, is what in your life has been incubating or waiting for the last little while for this timing to come about, for you to be able to sell and market ideas on loving, trusting, and accepting yourself, bringing that joyous vitality for all of us and that greater purpose to life.
I love that. Thank you so much, Shelley. Yeah, and beautiful way to tie this all together. I love it. How about for you, Leanna?
Thanks, Karen. Yes, I love this. Thank you for inviting me to speak, because I do love this one. A couple things. One would be in BG5 terms, for those of us who have the 5, really starting to work with the fact that we have a strength in creating culture. Because isn't it the culture? It's the culture, isn't it?
Yes.
And since I've learned this, I've really given myself permission to inform my team that this is what I'm good at. And then I also inform them, obviously about what their skills are. But I really have the confidence around this one. And I can articulate it to my team in logical terms regarding the business, and how it helps the business. So I invite everyone to kind of remember that we have, those of us that have the 5, we are really good at this, And the other thing I notice is that sometimes my rhythms are inconvenient for others, because I really like a morning run, or a morning, like I know what I like, especially in the mornings, to start my day off right. And also as an advisor, to get my energy right, because obviously I don't have the energy center. So for me, my fixed rhythm, or doing things that inspire me and light me up, they give me then the energy to then go and use my energy in other ways. So people won't always understand. And because we sample life and say, as I said earlier, have different canvases on the go, people won't always understand that. And because it can look, even if we have fixed rhythms, we can hold people up. And that's how I've experienced it. My man wants to go do something else, but I want to do my fixed rhythm first. And then the other way is that because we allow life to direct us, it's not a straight line. So other people can misunderstand our wisdom and the beauty of what we're doing by pausing, stopping, pivoting, how we move with the rhythm with life. I definitely find people they definitely don't understand it if they don't understand it.
Yeah.
So just to remind ourselves that it's a real gift to be able to do this.
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful point, Leanna, because just kind of going back to what I believe Shelley was talking about earlier, with, sometimes there can be misunderstandings, or, you have one pattern and, your partner has another pattern, or whatever it happens to be. Sometimes those patterns and rhythms can also be disruptive for others as well, but also you need to stay true to your pattern and rhythm. And so this is one of the reasons why it can be a challenging electromagnetic. It's because different people have different rhythms, and it's really all of us also respecting each other's patterns and rhythms, and knowing that, again, it's not something personal, it's something, this is what is healthy for me, being in this pattern and rhythm, which, again, as Shelley was saying, being in a pattern or rhythm may not feel as comfortable for her. So really being able to honor that. I love that you brought that up, Leanna, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes. And Linda.
Yes, well, beautiful sharing of everyone. What I really feel is that it's a time to get in touch with the trust of life, trusting life, because we all, even if it's extreme, we all have our rhythms. Life brings us the opportunities in life. That's the rhythm of life, the heartbeat of life. And we are all connected to the heartbeat of something greater than ourselves, because together as a collective, we have a heartbeat. That's what I really feel. That's also maybe the culture as a human being, what it means being a human being. And I feel like this trait invites us to get in touch with that heartbeat, to get in touch with the rhythm of life, and to surrender, like, okay, well, maybe I am trying too hard to get things done, and I can wait more at this point.
Yeah.
I can surrender. I can just let go, because life wants the best for me. I feel like it's the message. Life has something in store for us, and it's creating something beautiful we cannot imagine, because something has to be done there and there and there in order that the synchronicity is happening for you at the exact right moment. And if you can see that perspective from, I feel like it's a higher, like a bird's eye view, like, okay, well, maybe life is not unfolding like I'm thinking of, or like I feel like, or what suits my rhythm. At the end, it will show up exactly the way you need it, if you are aware. And I feel this is, I love this trait. It's the rhythm of life. You have to surrender to it. And I feel like go with the flow that life presents you. That's what I want to say.
So beautifully said, Linda, and really beautifully wraps up our BG5 live for today. So thank you each and every one of you. It's really been a rich conversation, and thank you, Leanna, also for joining us live and sharing with us your wisdom as well. All right, everyone, have a fabulous week, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.